Hey, what is up guys, it's Mathless97 bringing you another 2K14 video. Now today we're talking about the roster and what we could possibly see featured based on what we already know. So, from what we already know, this is the roster on the official WWE 2K page. We have seen the show-off Dolph Ziggler, John Cena, Mr. Super Cena himself is in the game, Macho Man Randy Savage, The Rock, The Ryback, or as he's now going by, Cryback, Shawn Michaels, The Heartbreak Kid, Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was also leaked later on that the Ultimate Warrior will be in the game if you pre-order the game, which is actually pretty cool that you get a wrestler for previewing the game. We had Mike Tyson last year. Why did I say previewing? It's pre-ordering. But this year we have the Ultimate Warrior. Not too big of a deal. I would have been okay with him not being in the game. Probably not going to play as him too often, but this does set up an interesting concept. Now, I'm going to get into this one right off the bat. I'm going to touch on how many superstars I like to see and just get right into the topic of this thing, right into the heat of this thing. So, I don't remember the exact number that we had in WWE13, but it was around 70 to 80 superstars. So, I'd like to see maybe 80 to 90 superstars. Just hear me out though. That does seem like a high number, but with the roster that I have in mind, 80 to 90 is what you're going to need to still be able to cover all the superstars that you want to be able to cover. So I think 80 to 90, considering they were pretty close to 80, they've been expanding the roster as of late, so it wouldn't surprise me if they went up into the 80s range, possibly even 90s. I think it's perfectly possible, even though the license changed hands, the game was in development, so they already had in mind who they were going to use. So it seems perfectly reasonable that there could be up to 90 superstars in this game. So next up, looking at the guys we have so far. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin, who represents the Attitude Era, could also be an Immortal with the Legends. Shawn Michaels, definitely representing the Immortals. He could be considered more of a current guy, but he's not really. Ryback and John Cena are the current guys. The Rock, Macho Man Randy Savage. The Rock, while he's not in his Attitude Era gimmick, so he'll probably be more of the Immortal sort of thing. And then we have Macho Man Randy Savage, and plus with the Ultimate Warrior being confirmed, let's dive into what I would like to see for this game. Although now that I look back on it with The Rock not being in his Attitude Era attire, there is not too much to prove this idea, this concept, but also looking at Stone Cold's entrance. He has the Attitude Era Tron going in the background, so that sort of contradicts The Rock not having his Attitude Era attire, but we don't know that won't be a thing. We don't know that yet. We only have the superstars confirmed that we have, which is a small amount. It's only 8 superstars if you count the Ultimate Warrior. Plus, if you delve deeper into things, you can see some signs in the background that could confirm other superstars. And plus, with the cover contest, that confirmed about 30 superstars, so we know they're going to be in the game. Also, the leaked information possibility of Bo Dallas, Brad Maddox, and Big E Langston in the game, based on the cover contest information. I will leave a link in the description to show you how to do that, but you just change the names of the superstars. You can look for other ones, but no other superstars have been found yet, and I doubt there are any. But Big E, Bo Dallas, and Brad Maddox were the 3 that you could find. That definitely leaves things interesting, because you have Stone Cold, who had Attitude Era footage playing. You had Shawn Michaels' Attitude Era footage playing in the trailer. You had the Attitude Era Tron for Stone Cold. You have The Rock, who could easily have his Attitude Era gimmick there. You have the Immortals, Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, HBK. You also have the current guys. You have John Cena, Ryback, and Dolph Ziggler. And with the leak of the possibility of Bo Dallas, maybe even Big E if they consider him NXT guy, you could have the next generation superstars. So here's my thought. We see a roster of 4 generations. You have the Immortals, which are guys like Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, HBK, The Undertaker, if they add in Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, possibly Hulk Hogan. I mean, you don't know, just guys of those eras. Oh, I also forgot. Bob Backlund confirmed himself to... No, it was Bruno Sammartino confirmed... I don't know, it's one of the two. I'm pretty sure it's Sammartino confirmed himself to be in this game. So you have the Immortals, I actually have a list down here. You could even include Triple H in that list. If he's not going to be included in the current era, you can include him in there. You have the Attitude Era / the Ruthless Aggression Era, because building off of where they left off the last time, we had Vince purchasing WCW, which led into the Invasion storyline in 2001. So this could be sort of Attitude Era 2.0, and the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression Era. The Invasion storyline would go great with this. You have guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. Kane is where I would consider him to be in there. Just guys from that main match, like that. When I think of the Invasion, I think of the Survivor Series tag team match. You have Booker T. This also includes RVD. RVD just returned. You have his game model. If you don't want to make him a current superstar, you can include him in this Ruthless Aggression style. I also think Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle confirmed himself to be in WWE 13, and he was not in it. That was Kurt Angle's fault, though. But I mean, Kurt Angle, he was a big part of this Invasion storyline. So if they do go with that, Kurt Angle he should be in the game. Like I also mentioned, the possibility of Hulk Hogan being an immortal. That might be a bit of a stretch. They don't need Hogan to be in the game, but when you think of the immortal Hulk Hogan, he goes by that nickname, so those are guys I could see possibly being in the game. Also, around that time, 1999-2000, you had that tag team division. You had Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys. They put on those sick matches, the TLC ladder matches. They could easily do a triple threat tag team. They could bring that back. They've done it before. They should be able to do that, but that'll be another topic for another commentary about game modes. If you guys want to see that, let me know. But Edge and Christian will be in the game. They were in it last year, and whether or not they're going to be in their Attitude Era attires, which I hope they are, I want them to be in there as the tag team. Bring in the Dudley Boys, which might be a little less likely because both are in TNA, and then the Hardy Boys, which are also unlikely because they were in TNA and Matt Hardy's in ROH, plus the whole drug thing, jail, I don't know. But that would be a cool concept to go along with the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era. Then you have the current era, which includes guys like John Cena, CM Punk, Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, and even sort of the future guys of the current era that have been brought up. Guys like Daniel Bryan, The Shield, Big E Langston. You could consider the Usos to be part of that group. Hashtag the Usos are more over than. Fandango, Ryback, Antonio Cesaro, possibly Big E Langston, which could also be included in my next category, the Next Generation, which would be only about a handful of NXT guys, the top tier NXT guys, like Cassius Ohno, Adrian Neville, Big E Langston. I will mention Bo Dallas because he was a leaked roster thing. You could also consider Brad Maddox to be in there. Maybe he'll be a referee. Who knows? But Brad Maddox, you consider him the Next Generation. Now, as far as how you would split this, you could do it maybe about 5 to 10 Immortals. Like 5 to 10 of them. Because you don't need to have too many. I could easily go right into career mode with this, but I'll save that for another video. I'll maybe tease on it. But you don't need too many of the super legends, the Hall of Fame, the Immortals. You don't need too many. So 5 to 10 would work. Maybe more towards the 10 range, depending on who they want to put in the game and how many of them they want to use. Then you have the Attitude Era, which is going to need maybe closer to the 20 range, but about 10 to 20 depending on what you want to use. Maybe up to 25, I don't know, it all depends who all from the Invasion storyline you want to use. You add Lance Storm and Edge, just trying to think of some of the mid-carder feuds. Big guys like RVD came in from ECW, Booker T came in from WCW, plus Booker T's been in past games, so I'd honestly be a little surprised if he wasn't in this game, but I don't know exactly what they're planning on doing, so at this point, I would not be fully shocked if he was not in the game, but I would be pretty shocked. And then, I'm really stretching here, I think, but maybe even like a Tommy Dreamer from ECW. Trying to think of other guys. Edge went into a feud when they unified the United States and the Intercontinental. But I don't know, some of those superstars that I'm thinking of, like the top tier WCW and ECW guys who came in during the Invasion and represented people. Shane McMahon probably going to be in the game if they go with that kind of route. Then you have, similar to the Immortal situation, you only have about 5 to 10 of them because there really aren't too many top-tier NXT guys that you know are going to be future main eventers in the WWE, or at least future players in the WWE. Guys like I mentioned earlier, Adrian Neville, Cassius Ohno, Bo Dallas. Not a fan favorite, but he was leaked, so he could be in the game. Big E Langston could also fit with these NXT guys, and then Brad Maddox, we don't know what he's doing in the WWE yet, but he could fit in that sort of generation. And like I said, you only need about 5 to 10 of them, because the NXT roster is pretty small already, and you don't really need to bring in too many guys. So, I mean, like 5 to 10, just bring in the more well-known, the upper class of the NXT. Summer Rae could go involved with that, joining with Fandango, and this will lead into the bulk of the roster. A WWE game has to have current guys. You cannot dominate your roster with past people. Nobody will want to play that game. You have YouTubers who do playthroughs, and they do like pay-per-view predictions and live streams and stuff. Unless you bump up the amount of cost slots, which even then you should still have a sufficient amount of your current era superstars. This is where I say you have anywhere between 40 to 60 superstars, including the divas. Divas, you do maybe about 10 at max, because Alicia Fox hasn't really been on TV. Maybe as a DLC you could add her in. Speaking of DLC, Mrs. DLC, Layla, she'll probably be a DLC. Trying to think of some of the divas. Rosa Mendez, we haven't seen her in a while, so she might not be in the game. Oksana, she's nothing but a punching bag, so she doesn't have to be in the game. Summer Rae could go with the divas. NXT diva, you could possibly consider Paige. But, yeah, you definitely need, the bulk of your roster has to be current era guys. That's why you have the game, so people can, you'll see the wrestlers on TV, you play them in the video game. That's what you want to see. And you can't just stick to the main event guys. You have to have the lower level guys. Santino, I wouldn't care or not if he's in the game, but you know, he's just an example. Zack Ryder. I'm picking bad examples. What am I doing? Wade Barrett. Antonio Cesaro. Fandango. You know, just, you gotta have a well-balanced amount of your main event, and you can't single guys out. Superstars that could have easily been in the game last year and weren't. Luckily, last year, they definitely did a step up. They added people in for DLC, brought in guys like Antonio Cesaro and Ryback, the Usos. But in WWE12, what they did, they kept a lot of guys out and kept a lot of the older guys in. So superstars they could possibly cut out of the roster. Definitely trim down the Attitude Era roster, because some of the more original Attitude Era guys like the British Bulldog. Oh my god, my computer tried to go to sleep, but at least it didn't shut off this. Guys like the British Bulldog, Bret Hart. I'm trying to think of other guys, but you know, around that area, especially Bret Hart after the Montreal screw job, he was done. That was the beginning of the Attitude Era, so he does not need to be in the game. But guys like him, the British Bulldog, the New Age Outlaws should still be in the game. I can't really place my finger on any major, can't really place my finger on any main people, but some of the smaller guys in the Attitude Era, I don't think Ken Shamrock played too much of a big role regarding the second half of the Attitude Era. But you know, some of the smaller guys, you don't have to have them in. I know Rikishi. People like Rikishi and Too Cool. Their entrance is pretty cool, but I don't know if they necessarily have to be in there. Rikishi maybe by himself, but I don't know if Sky Tuhati and Grandmaster Sexay need to be included. But you want to trim down your Attitude Era roster, especially if you're going to bring in Immortals and the really Hall of Famers, the more classic wrestlers. You're going to have to trim down your Attitude Era roster. And if you're going to include an NXT roster, which this all would be great for career mode, you start out in NXT against your next generation superstars. You move up to the current roster and you take on the greats like CM Punk, Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, and some of the smaller guys that help you get your way up there like Daniel Bryan or The Shield and Cesaro, you know, just those kind of people. You move on then, this is where I get confused, how they include the Attitude Era into this, but building off of where they left off last year, it would be perfect transition right into WWE 2K14. While they have the idea, might as well roll with it, just move right into it so you don't have to come up with many models or anything like that, especially with the license change. Going right into the next thing, you can transition some guys over from the last game, guys like Stone Cold. And that could also be included maybe towards the Immortals range, where you start to get up there and you have to have attitude to succeed in the WWE. A perfect example like that, CM Punk. This is where your Attitude Era guys come in. You're ruthless. You gotta have ruthless aggression to succeed. You have to be willing to go to the limit. That's when you bring in guys like a Mick Foley or something like that. Just your Attitude Era guys that you battle, getting you up to the range where you tangle with the Immortals. You try to become immortal. That's the tagline of the game. You go up against greats like Randy Savage, the Macho Man. Ooh, Macho Madness. I don't know why I did that. But the greats, the Phenom, undefeated at WrestleMania, The Undertaker, the Showstopper, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, the Ultimate Warrior, one of the top guys who tangled with Hulk Hogan. You know, just that would really work with career mode if they plan on bringing that into this game, which is a popular thing other people want to bring in. Definitely more popular than GM mode, at least from what I've seen. You start out as your creative wrestler and you move your way up through the ranks. Having 4 generations would definitely really work for something like the career mode. You have your next generation superstars, your current top guys, the last era's top guys, and then the greats from the past. So that's just what I think about this roster, what it should include, who they should have. Let me know what you guys think about this idea in the comments below. I know I've seen some other people who think this would be a cool idea. Watch some videos on that and try to bounce my ideas off of that and try to get my opinions out there. And what do you guys want to see? Do you not want to have the Attitude Era at all? Do you want to just trim it down to whatever the Immortals are going to have? Do you just want it to be all current guys? Do you hate some of the guys they put in like Savage or Warrior? Do you not want them to be in the game? Who do you want them to be in the game? How many NXT guys do you want to see? Because I know NXT guys are something people have wanted for a long time. Do you want guys like Alex Riley and I was going to say Michael McGillicuddy, but now he's Curtis Axel, so he might be in the game. But do you want superstars like Alex Riley and Kurt Hawkins and Mason Ryan, who haven't been on TV for a while? I don't know, just let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you stuck it out this far, be sure to hit that like button, and let me know in the comments that you made it this far, even if you're going to say something like, I agree with your thoughts, or I disagree, or just saying, I made it to the end of the video, here's a like, now get out of my face. Now, I don't know. But just let me know that you made it this far. Really appreciate it. If you're new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, especially if you stuck it out this far, because I'll be doing future content like this, and I also do a kick-ass universe mode, GM mode, and Pokemon if you like that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Keep on YouTubing.